Hi everyone. I'm gonna get straight into it. Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman suck. I'll explain why in a minute. First of all, Rishi Sunak refuses to repeal a mental health act that has been in place since 1983 of placing autistic people and people with learning disabilities alongside people with genuine mental health issues. Now, for me, that is absolutely wild. And then on top of that, apparently that law is one of the main reasons why black folk are 4 times as likely to be sectioned than other races, because it's likely that their autism or learning difficulties are not properly diagnosed or not diagnosed at all. So they're just, we're just thrown into hospitals at 4 times the rate like of our white counterparts. So yeah, Rishi Sunak sucks ass. I can't stand him. He's a psychopath. And then Suella Braverman is a next level psychopath. She shows off her evil in a way that's like completely desperate. Like she's desperate for people to see how evil she is. And one example of how evil this bitch is, right? She wants to outlaw people who are homeless using tents to sleep on, so that they don't disrupt small businesses or what have you. Now, the small business angle I can understand, because having a homeless person outside your shop window, as much as human beings we like to think that we're better than that, unless we're living in like inner city areas or stuff like that, it does drive down the value of the business having a homeless person sleep there. So from a business perspective, I can understand that. But coming from that same perspective of business and economics, I'm trying to understand exactly what Suella Braverman is trying to achieve here. Privatization is on the rise, which means that benefits have skyrocketed, that the benefit payouts have skyrocketed. So they've skyrocketed, but people on benefits have actually benefited less from this privatization than they would have done if there was still social housing and everything wouldn't have been privatized, right? So first off, rent is sky high. Social housing is slowly but surely being replaced with private housing. There's private housing everywhere. Social housing is on its way out. We've got empty buildings that are not being bought up because nobody can really afford it. And on top of that, if they are being bought up, it's not going to people, those rooms are not going to people who actually need it. Okay, so you got privatization fucking everything up. You got lack of social housing. Our councils are going broke because of austerity. Our councils are fucking going broke. Even with the mental health hospitals, they were running out of beds when I was sectioned. When I was sectioned, they were running out of beds. They were keen to get me the fuck up out of there as quickly as possible because they were running out of beds. Now, I understand that MI5 and the gang stalkers and whoever the fuck is on my case, they wanted me to stay in there as long as possible. But the NHS did not, because their beds are fucking full. Between people with learning disabilities ending up in there, between fucking homeless people ending up in mental health hospitals, mental health hospitals are full. So homeless people can't go there. They can't stay outside the shops because they're banned from doing so, which means they're not going to be able to find warmth anywhere. If tents are outlawed, then where the fuck are these homeless people supposed to go? And then on top of that, apparently some homeless people are charged 150 to 200 pounds for sleeping in the wrong areas as well. Where the fuck are they going to find the money if they've got no address? If they've got no address, how are they going to have a bank account? If they can't have a bank account, how are they going to pay the fine? See, all of these things are put in place to criminalize a situation that was never caused by the homeless. Oh, they refuse to get up and do something for themselves. A lot of these people are very, very sick. When you're sleeping outside in the elements, There was somebody that I know, a member of my family, who slept outside in the elements, and they have a disability because of it. They have a swollen leg because of it. So these people who end up being homeless, a lot of them are very, very sick. A lot of them can't get the treatment they're supposed to get. And because of the increasing privatization of the NHS, that's just going to get worse. So where the fuck are these people supposed to sleep? How are they supposed to function? How are they supposed to get decent healthcare? Remember why they're on the streets in the first place. It's not just mental illness. It's the cost of living making everything sky high. That's what's making them homeless. And then on top of that, God forbid that they should steal a loaf of bread from a shop. Oh, Lord. Prisons are full. Even that wouldn't work. Prisons are full. And then on top of that, from what I've been hearing, people are being criminalized in this country for feeding the homeless. Like, what are these people supposed to do? What the fuck are these people supposed to do? I'm glad her plan to fucking criminalize tents fucking failed, that fucking bitch. I can't stand Braverman, man. It's just this desperate attempt to prove how cruel she can be. I can be evil. Look, I can be evil. Just an attention-seeking trolloc. I can't stand that fucking cow. Oh. And in the meantime, right-wing politics are on their way up. Now, I had to redo this video because I got carried away with that. But, you know, next thing you know, Rishi Sunak and fucking Sunak Braverman and Preeti Patel and Liz Truss and Boris Johnson and David Cameron, they all led us down a fucking economic abyss. They've all led us down this economic abyss. Now they want to predictably turn their attentions towards marginalized people. Now they want people to turn their attentions to the trans community and blame the trans community for some reason. A lot of trans people, unless they're middle class or they're from middle class backgrounds, a lot of trans people have even worse financial situations than we do. And yet they're being scapegoated. Immigrants are being scapegoated. We've seen that from the amount of protests that have been outside hotels. Immigrants are being scapegoated. Then we've got women being scapegoated. It's just a never-ending thing. Queer people being scapegoated. Like fucking clockwork. Like clockwork. People being scapegoated from the marginalized or from the fringes. Black people, it's not gonna surprise anyone. After like about 20 or so years of black people finally being recognized and having our voices heard, now it's gonna be the new thing. It's gonna be the brave new thing to come after us and come after brown people. So whilst all of this is going on and all of these problems are raging, that this Tory government, of course, then they're going to rely on right-wing politics to distract from what they've been doing. And it works every single time. And I haven't even brought up the fact that Israel, the UK, are supporting Israel. The UK are supporting Israel, and the UK have also been supporting the war in the Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is still going on, by the way. The war in Ukraine is still going on. And now the British people or the British government, they want to put their support behind Israel in this struggle against Palestine. So once again, we're in a situation where we're funding apartheid. And I haven't even got, like, all of these things, austerity, war, they've all caused the cost of living crises on top of austerity. All of that caused by the same government telling everybody to pull their bootstraps up. And now I've been hearing that Rishi Sunak expects poorer people to sacrifice regular pay now. Are you understanding what the fuck is going on right now? I could tell you that Rishi Sunak is a scumbag and that people like him are scumbags. But where would you find the adjectives to accurately describe that level of desperate, pandering evil. How could you even put it into words? How could you even begin to put it into words? I fucking hate. I thought these people were cunts. I thought our government were cunts before. When I found out that I was targeted and that my family was targeted and that my mum was continually being hospitalized in order to get a rise out of me, I thought that my government were cunts before. But I didn't realize how right I was about the fact that there was no limit to the cuntishness of our government. And we're not smart enough, we're just not smart enough to see through any of this. It's absolutely wild to me. Wow. It's like these people, it's even when I know what's going on, I can't understand it. Even though I know that all of this is a depopulation effort to starve people to death, to freeze people to death, you know, even though I know, dehydrate people to death, irradiate people to death, even though I know what's going on here, even though I know what's going on and why it's happening, it doesn't mean that I understand it. Even when I can comprehend it and I can see inside my mind why what's happening is happening, why people are being made to suffer increasingly, I can see that because they want to cleanse the population. Our UK government are committing genocide against people. And it's very, very easy to see. It's very easy to see people, that our governments are committing genocide and have been committing genocide for the longest time. It's just that they've done it in a way more subtle way than the state of Israel, or they've done it in a way more subtle way. In Britain, the apartheid has always been the most subtle apartheid, out of everywhere else in the world. It's always been the most subtle. There's apartheid everywhere, let's be clear, but like with Britain, there's a subtlety about it. You're living in an apartheid, but you don't realize you're living in an apartheid because everything just seems to be so liberal over here. But Britain wrote wrote the handbook on evil. We wrote the handbook on evil. Don't let nothing fool you. And we're seeing that in action. Only now it's become more obvious because Rishi Sunak and Sunak Braverman, they have no finesse whatsoever. The Conservative government, they play on their stupidity, they play on their selfishness, they play on their flaws to lead people away from all the nefarious things that they're really doing. And it works every time. In fact, I can't help but think that this mental health thing and this, homelessness tent thing, it's just another distraction, because Boris Johnson himself said it. If you want to distract the public from what you're doing wrong or from what, real nefarious plans you might be getting up to, just keep people inundated with mistakes that you intend to make over and over again. And once again, the Conservative Party have been doing this like clockwork, constantly, just constantly throwing in our face how evil they are so that they can get up to even more evil things behind the scenes. So what are they actually distracting us from? They're distracting us with overly capacitating like hospitals and prisons. Like they're distracting us with that, and they're distracting us with wanting homeless people to freeze to death. So they're distracting us with that. It really begs the question, what are they distracting us from when they are doing that? Because again, it's like Boris Johnson said, actually, I've got to go back, because he didn't say, use mistake after mistake to cover up for smaller things. No, He said just inundate people with mistakes, inundate people with wrongdoing so that they don't know which one to focus on. That's what he said, actually. That's what he said, and I'll paraphrase. And that's exactly what the Conservatives are doing. That's what they've been doing. That's why they still have power in spite of, like, the fact that they've monumentally fucked up at every turn. With Labour, it's not going to be any better, though, with Keir Starmer there. Jeremy Corbyn should have won. Because everything that's taken place now, he was right about. He should have won. He should have won the leadership election. I don't know why Starmer's there. But yeah, this government is an absolute shithouse. And on top of that, they wanna spy on what benefits people are doing, you know, because of the rare accounts of people actually committing benefit fraud. Because of the rare accounts of people committing benefit fraud, now they want to spy on people with benefits. Isn't it funny how the same government that have, you know, a wealth of tax dodgers and like a wealth of people using taxpayers' money for the most frivolous shit, like they're the same people who want to spy on us and make sure that we're not doing what they're doing. It's funny, isn't it? Again, whilst I was being gang stalked, I thought this government were cunts before. I had no idea. No idea. Well, I did. But even when I can see right in front of me everything that I said would happen, even when I'm seeing it right in front of me, I still can't believe it. I'm going to leave the links in the description for all the ridiculous shit that I've been seeing with the Conservative Party so far, and the ones that got my attention the most. How does all this affect targeted individuals? Well, you have to remember the point is to leave us homeless, sectioned, or imprisoned. Prisons are filling up, hospitals are filling up, and people are increasingly homeless because of the cost of living situation. So you figure it out. But I'm going to leave a link in the description. So please don't take it as not important for TRs, because it's very important for TRs. We have to be prepared for these fucking people. Okay, so yeah, I gotta go. Peace and blessings. Bye.